Welcome back to the Tourbeau Sports Group Network. We're about to get underway here at the USCAA tournament in Pool A action. Once again, two pools, Pool A and Pool B. 5 teams in each pool. The top 4 teams from each pool will advance to the elimination rounds on Friday. Marygrove College and the University of Cincinnati-Clermont, both 1-0. Earlier today, Marygrove defeated Carlow in 2 games by scores of 25-12 and 25-20, and UC Clermont won a thrilling match over Penn State Fayette, winning games 1 and 3. And game 1, it was a close one. They had to go all the way to 26 just to get an end result as they won 26-24 over the Lady Roaring Lions. And game 3, they clinched it with a 15-12 victory. Cincinnati-Clermont from Batavia, Ohio. Marygrove College in Detroit, Michigan. Both these teams had to make quite the trek to get here to Canton, New York, at the State University of New York in Canton. And here we go. The Mustangs will begin serving to the Cougars. An excellent attack right there, but well defended by the Mustangs. And the attack right there by the Mustangs goes out of bounds, and the first point of the game goes to the Cougars. That was number 12, Sarah Sapelsa, just a little bit too far beyond that end line for the Mustangs. And now here's the Cougars serving to the Mustangs. As Rebecca Walton's hit goes below the net. And Marygrove College evens it up at 1 apiece. Substitution being made as Haley Jury checks in for Drea Pappas. Now the setup for the Cougars. Excellent block right there by Velez. And now they set up for Sapelsa. An excellent block now by the Cougars. And combining on the block right there, that was number 11, Heather Rowland, and number 8, Haley Weber. Excellent job along that front line. But Haley Jury's serve a little bit too low. And the score is back even at 2 points apiece. Serving for the Cougars will be number 11, Heather Rowland, the sophomore middle hitter and outside hitter. Set up for Velez. It's blocked on the front line by Kylie Collins and Amber Lawrence, but on their side of the net. Point goes to Marygrove. And if you can see, this is a bit of an odd-looking net situation. It's a suspended net. It's hung up by the ceiling. Let's see if that plays a factor today, as there are a couple of poles streaming over the Cougars' side as the point right there goes to University of Cincinnati-Clermont. Both sides making substitutions. Coming in for Marygrove, number 16, Alyssa Atkins. And entering the game for the Cougars, number 1, Shannon Arnold, and number 2, Alex Robb. A nice dig right there by the libero for the Mustangs as that ball hits the ground after an excellent attack. Looked to have been Katharina Hall, who has 243 kills this year. That's second best on the team. Now Velez will serve. Cougars got to get this over the net, and they do. The setup for Hall is retrieved by the Cougars, and an excellent block by Kiera Cobbs on the Mustangs front line. Cobbs with the attack and the kill right there on the spike. Kiera Cobbs has 258 kills this year. That leads the team. And she actually holds the school record for kills in a match with 21. Did that against Grace Bible College. As Velez's serve sails past the end line, point goes to the Cougars. As Taylor Herman and Amber Peters check in for the Cougars. They replace Rebecca Walton and Amber Lawrence. Kempinski sets up for Hall. An excellent attack right there by the Cougars. That was Amber Peters, tying this game up at 5 points apiece. Cougars 22-4 this year. They come out of the Ohio Collegiate Athletic Conference. They are coached by one of the best in the USCAA, as Kiara Cobb's dig attempt can't get over the net, and the Cougars take a 6-5 lead. Cobb's attack dug out well by the Cougars again, and excellent job by both sides keeping this play alive. Another great dig. Kempinski sets up for Hall. Well blocked by the Cougars by Kylie Collins, but it goes out of bounds on the Mustangs sideline. Point goes to the Mustangs. Haley Jury is replaced on the Mustangs bench. And Kempinski, Nicole Kempinski with the serve, and Mustangs take a lead once again, 7-6. Nicole Kempinski is the twin sister of teammate Kara Kempinski. Both these players started their college careers at Schoolcraft College and both transferred here to Marygrove. And here's Nicole Kempinski with the serve. And the attack by Amber Peters is good. A good block attempt by both Kiara Cobbs and Andrea Papas on the Mustangs front line, but the point goes to the Cougars. And it's a bit of a seesaw battle right from the get-go in the first game of this match. And once again on that front line, Heather Rowland and Amber Peters put the Cougars back ahead. The libero, Courtney Mayer, back to serve for the Cougars. Averaging .36 service aces per set this year. That's good for fourth best on the team. And Cobb's attack goes out of bounds past the Cougars' end line. And now the Cougars have their largest lead of this game so far. And Kempinski sets up Papas. And once again, that's Amber Peters with another kill on the Cougars' front line. And a timeout called on the Mustangs bench by Coach Baker. And let's talk about Amber Peters for a second, the sophomore outside hitter. She's averaging 1.83 kills per set this year. That's third on the team to number 11, Heather Rowland, and number 14, Amber Lawrence. And she's averaging .26 blocks per set, which is sixth best on the team. And really doing a fine job right from the beginning. Her and Heather Rowland, a pair of sophomores along that front line for head coach Joe Harpring and company. And this season, those two specifically have helped the Cougars average a 26.1 percentage on attacks, second best in the USCAA, and 2.52 blocks per set, which is also second best in the entire USCAA. As we are set to resume play. Courtney Mayer to serve for the Cougars. The setup for Cobbs. Dug out nicely by Mayer. Kempinski sets it up very nicely for Katharina Hall. And Hall, really a nice job, good awareness right there, finding the open space in the shallow part of the Cougars' end of the floor. And the Mustangs end the Cougars' 4-0 run. Hall now to serve. Robb setting it up for Shannon Arnold. Arnold's tip, though, goes beyond the baseline. Another point to the Mustangs. Pool play, this is best of three all the way until Friday evening. Top four teams from each pool, Pool A and Pool B, will advance to the elimination rounds of the tournament. So that point goes back to the Mustangs. Now on a bit of a run on their own, 3-0. Hall set to serve. And set up nicely for Heather Rowland on the Cougar side, but blocked very well by the Mustangs front line. That was Drea Papas and Kiara Cobbs, along with Amelia Velez. And the attack by Amber Peters is no good, and head coach Joe Harpering wants a timeout along the Cougars sideline. And with that timeout, we'll take a quick break here on Tourbeau Sports Network. (12-10) Mustangs lead over the Cougars in game one in a best-of-3 match between the Marygrove College Mustangs and the University of Cincinnati-Clermont Cougars. And a nice tip right there by the Cougars. That was Heather Rowland just getting it over the outstretched arms of Kiara Cobbs and Drea Pappas. A substitution being made on the Cougars sideline. Alex Robb and Shannon Arnold check out as a couple more Cougars check in. Now the setup for Sapelsa. And Sapelsa giving the Cougars front line all they can handle as the Mustangs reach out to another 2-point lead, 13-11 over the Cougars. Walton sets up. Haley Weber. And the point goes to the Cougars. Substitution being made by Joe Harpering. Amber Lawrence checks into the game. She will replace Taylor Herman. One freshman replacing another. The setup for Amber Lawrence, and she'll get credit for the kill right there. Lawrence, once again, only a freshman, an outside hitter for the Cougars, averaging 3.14 kills per set this year. That is best on the team. Now Kempinski sets up, and that was for Amelia Velez, and she's going to get credit for the kill right there as number 10, Haley Jury, checks in for Drea Pappas. A nice dig by Jury on the Mustang side. Robb sets it up for Lawrence. And a great job by Sapelsa, once again finding an open gap in the Cougars' defense. The Mustangs now lead 15-13. Marygrove only 15-13, or 17-13, excuse me, this year, coming into the USCAA National Tournament. But they were 4-1 during the season against other USCAA tournament teams this year, as the point goes to the Mustangs after the fault by the Cougars. A good job by the Cougars. That was Haley Weber. We'll get credit for the kill as number 13, Kylie Collins, replaces Courtney Mayer on the Cougars side. And set up for Velez, and point to the Mustangs. Amelia Velez and Sarah Sapelsa, double trouble on that front line for the Mustangs. Together this year, they are averaging nearly 5 kills per game. The two best on the team, as that shot by the Cougars, by Kylie Collins and Amber Lawrence, Doesn't go beyond the end line. Point to the Cougars. Substitutions being made on both ends. Number 2, Alex Robb checks in for the Cougars. And she replaces Haley Weber. Cougars down by 2. To the Mustangs. Robb setting up her Cougars teammate. And Velez, another great job right there on the attack. The Cougars front line, Kylie Collins, unable to block that attack away from the Mustangs. Mustangs now up 18-15. Velez's serve is returned by the Cougars. A nice block along the front line by Collins. An excellent dig by Haley Jury on the Mustangs. And Kiara Cobbs with an excellent kill right there, as that was very tough for Heather Rowland. That would have been tough for any player to try to return that attack by Cobbs on the Mustangs. Timeout called on the Cougar sideline by head coach Joe Harpringen. Both these teams had key losses from last year's teams. Marygrove, they lost setter Megan Goal. Goal was a USCAA second-team All-American for head coach Jamie Baker's Mustangs. And for the Cougars, they lost middle hitter Rachel Hayes, who was also a second-team All-American. Joe Harpring, though, really doing a great job, though, with the Cougars. As usual, 8th consecutive appearance in the USCAA Volleyball Championships. And we resume play. Mustangs lead 19-15. Velez to serve for the Mustangs. And Kylie Collins' hit is deflected on the Mustangs front line. Once again, that's Kiara Cobbs. Cobbs this year had 63 blocks in 30 games. That was, or 30 matches. That was best on the team. A nice dig right there by Nicole Kempinski on the Mustangs. Kempinski sets up for Hall. And Cougars unable to get the volleyball over the net. Amber Lawrence just a little bit too short. Mustangs now with a 21-15 lead. Looks to be in good shape in this best of 3 match. Robb sets up for her teammate, but well dug out by the Mustangs again. Here is Lawrence, right to Velez. Kempinski sets up Cobbs, and Cobbs finds an opening in the back corner of the Cougars defense. Kiara Cobbs really playing some fantastic volleyball right now for the Mustangs. The junior middle blocker having a whale of a performance. As the Cougars are able to keep the volleyball inside. Substitution being made on both sides. Velez checks out for the Mustangs, and Lawrence checks out for the Cougars. 22-16, Mustangs lead. Kempinski sets up for Cobbs on the attack, and Kiara Cobbs once again causing havoc for the Cougars. Haley Jury checks out for the Mustangs. Kempinski's serve. It's going to be returned back by the Cougars. Robb tried to set up Amber Peters. Amber Peters, though, attack goes beyond the end line. Point to the Mustangs. Couple points away from a Game 1 victory. Now Robb setting up for Kylie Collins, and the block attempt by the Mustangs, no good. So the Cougars get a point. The junior defensive specialist, Courtney Mayer, back in to serve for the Cougars. Kempinski sets up Hall. Well dug out by Mayer. And good job on both front lines, on both sides of the net. Robb setting up her teammate Shannon Arnold. And the attack right there by Drea Pappas wraps up game one as the Mustangs take game one over the Cougars 25-17. We're going to get game two underway shortly. We'll be right back here on Tourbeau Sports Network. Game two about to get underway here on Tourbeau Sports Network. Marygrove College Mustangs and the University of Cincinnati-Clermont Cougars. Both teams won their first matches of the day. Marygrove defeated Carlow University in 2 games, defeated them 25-12 and 25-20. UC Clermont won quite the match over Penn State Fayette, winning game one 26-24. They lost game two 26-28, but then up prevailing and winning game three 15-12. Very exciting days so far. Pool play going on all day today, and on Friday a couple more pool play games for both sides, or for both pools, for each team. The top 4 teams from each pool will advance to the elimination rounds of the tournament on Friday evening. And here we go, Cougars starting out serving to the Mustangs, and point goes to the Cougars. A successful attack right there by Amber Peters. Rebecca Walton, the senior setter, to serve to the Mustangs. A nice dig right there by the Mustangs. Velez gets it over, and it hits just inside between the end line and the baseline on the Cougar side. And evens this game 2 matchup at 1 point apiece. Substitution being made for the Mustangs. Number 10, Courtney Mayer checks in for, number 10, Haley Jury checks in for Drea Pappas. And now Walton trying to set up Haley Weber. The point, though, will go to the Mustangs. Weber's tip was out of bounds beyond the baseline. Now Walton setting up for Heather Rowland. Her attack, though, had a little bit too much mustard on it, and it's going to be another point for the Mustangs. And great diving attempt on the dig by Kara Kempinski on the Mustangs side. But the point, though, will go to the Cougars. Excellent effort by the Mustangs. Substitution being made by the Cougars. Number 9, Samantha Gilbert checks in for Amber Peters. Gilbert, a freshman defensive specialist. 144 digs this year. That's good for 5th best on the team. Now the setup for Velez, and the Mustangs front line really doing a great job finding the open holes on the Cougars defense. Seen that numerous times from Velez, Kiera Cobbs, and Sarah Sapelsa as well. And Sapelsa will serve. Walton tries to set up Rowland, but an excellent block by Velez on the Mustangs front line. Mustangs from the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference. And they are from Detroit, Michigan, and they get another point right there. Another timeout called on the Cougars bench by head coach Joe Harpring. And don't forget, fans, you can capture all the memories and highlights from this national tournament on high-quality video and audio commentary. All matches are available for purchase from Tourbeau Sports. Head over to our website at www.tourbeausportsgroup to learn more. And so the 5 teams in Pool A, it's the defending champion Damon College Wildcats, Penn State Fayette, the Roaring Lions, Marygrove College, University of Cincinnati-Clermont, and the Carlow University Celtics. Game 1 today in Pool A action inside the CARC here at SUNY Canton. Damon defeated Penn State Fayette in 3 games. Game 2, Marygrove defeated Carlow. Game 3, Clermont defeated Penn State Fayette again. And Game 4, Damon defeated Carlow in 2 games. 6-2, Mustangs lead as the Cougars get the point right there. Substitutions being made on both sides. Number 13, Kylie Collins checks in for the Cougars, and for the Mustangs, number 16, Alyssa Atkins checks in for the Mustangs. Walton with an excellent setup to Haley Weber, and give credit to Haley Weber for the kill. The senior middle hitter and right side hitter, Haley Weber, averaging 1.53 kills per set this year. An excellent block. And once again, that was Haley Weber, also sophomore middle hitter Kylie Collins combining on the block. It's now 6-5 Mustangs. Velez with a lot of speed on that attack. Retrieved nicely, though, by the Cougars. And the excellent dig by the Mustangs. Looked like the ball went actually off the head of Velez. And she's just kind of laughing it off, and the point goes to the Cougars. It looks like she's okay, not seeing any stars or anything. But now this Game 2 matchup is tied at 6 points apiece, and Velez with the attack. This is Hall, and an excellent block. Combination block again by Collins and Weber for the Cougars. These two averaging nearly 1 block per set this year as Heather Rowland's serve goes out of bounds beyond the baseline on the Mustangs side. For the Mustangs, Kara Kempinski checks out of the game. The twin sister of teammate Nicole Kempinski. Hall's got to get this over, and she does. Rowland diving for it. An excellent effort by the Cougars, but well beyond the end line, and point goes to the Mustangs. Mustangs lead 8-7. They lead 1-0 over the Cougars in this best-of-3 match. Both teams playing their second games of pool play here in Canton, New York, as Heather Rowland's attack is successful. Substitutions being made on both sides. Kara Kempinski checks back in for Marygrove. And for Clermont, number 1, Shannon Arnold also checks back into the game. And Alex Robb with the serve as number 16, Alyssa Atkins, thought that was going out of bounds, but the point is actually going to be rewarded to the Cougars. And Atkins will come out of the game, replaced by Natalie Toth-Watkins, another freshman defensive specialist for the Mustangs. And Cobbs with the attack. A little bit too far beyond that end line, though. Alex Robb with the serve. Cobbs setting up Kempinski. And an excellent block attempt along the Mustangs front line, once again by Kiera Cobbs and Katharina Hall, but the Cougars have raced out now to an 11-point lead. They lead 11-8. Timeout called by Coach Baker on the Mustangs sideline. Now let's talk about Marygrove College real quick. Jamie Baker, in her second season as the head coach of the Mustangs, 24-36, but they have seen improvement. After only winning 10 games in 2012, Marygrove College won 17 games coming into tournament action. Baker, actually a former collegiate volleyball player at NCAA Division II Michigan Tech. And she was a high school coach actually for the previous 12 years before arriving at Marygrove. Her assistant coach, Brianne Dotstrey, is also a former collegiate player and actually played for Coach Baker at Henry Ford II High School in Sterling Heights, Michigan, before arriving in Marygrove. Now Cougars with a 3-point lead. Cobbs with the attack, and she gets the point right there on the kill. Substitution being made by the Mustangs. Drea Pappas checking in for Haley Jury. Nicole Kempinski with the serve. Robb setting up Shannon Arnold, and well blocked on the far end of the front line. That was Drea Pappas and Kiera Cobbs once again. Cougars now lead 11-10 over the Mustangs. Nicole Kempinski with the serve. Excellent dig right there by Kara Kempinski. And good job by the front line on both sides. Excellent block again by the Cougars. Rowland setting up Amber Lawrence. Back and forth, back and forth. An excellent battle right here between both these teams. Rowland to Walton, sets up Arnold. Kempinski now setting up Hall, and the Mustangs win that battle. Katharina Hall will get credit for the kill, as the Mustangs tie this second game up at 11 points apiece. Mustangs lead 1-0 in this series. Cougars trying to stay alive in their second game of pool action. That attack by Amber Lawrence sailed out of bounds, point to the Mustangs, and they have regained the lead over the Cougars. Rowland with the diving dig. Just got to get this over the net, and It goes beyond the end line. The Cougars fans didn't like that. They thought that it may have hit the black or hit the white on the end line. But the Cougars, or the Mustangs, will get the point, and currently they are on a 5-0 run. Robb sets up for her Cougars teammate. Now Pappas draws confusion on the Cougars side, and Mustangs go up 14-11. Timeout called by Joe Harpring on the Cougars sideline as the Mustangs are on a 6-0 run. Joe Harpring, let's talk about him for a little bit. Coming into the tournament, his Cougars 22-4 on the season. Impressive record. He's in his 10th year, 187-76 in 10 years at Cincinnati-Clermont. The name Cincinnati is in it, in the official college name, but they are actually located in Batavia, Ohio. Harpring has led the Cougars to 6 ORCC West Division titles, and they are 3-time OCAC regular season champs. 2 times they have won the OCAC tournament. He's coached 12 USCAA All-Americans, 7 MVPs, and 25 first-team All-Conference players during his tenure. And we resume action. Mustangs looking to continue this run, and they do. Mustangs on a 7-0 run. Cougars were up 11-8. Coach Baker called a timeout earlier in this second game. And I don't know what she said, but it's working for Marygrove. And Rowland actually caused some confusion as diving attempt by the Kempinski sisters creates a point for the Cougars, and it ends the Mustangs' run. Substitution being made for Cincinnati-Clermont. Number 16, Taylor Herman, checks back in for the Cougars. Mustangs got to get it over, and they do. Katharina Hall able to hit right to Heather Rowland, and right there, Kylie Collins on the attack, gets the kill. Marygrove College now leads 15-13 over the Cougars as Taylor Herman's serve isn't able to go over the net. Substitution being made on the Mustangs sideline. Sarah Sapelsa checks in for Natalie Toth-Watkins. And a net violation against the Cougars is called. Joe Harpring asking for some kind of explanation. The refs are going to talk this over real quick. As right now the point will still stand with the Mustangs. And the point does stick with the Mustangs. Cougars not very happy with the official ruling as Amber Peters gets the kill right there. 16-14, Mustangs lead. They're up 1-0 over the Cougars in this best-of-3 series in Pool A women's volleyball action. Andrea Pappas shot initially blocked by Heather Rowland and Amber Peters on the Cougars front line, but the point will go to the Mustangs. Mustangs now actually lead 18-14 here at the CARC. This building's only been around for a couple of years. It's a beautiful facility here at the State University of New York in Canton as the point goes to the Cougars. Substitutions being made for the Cougars. It's number 3, Rebecca Walton, and number 8, Haley Weber check in for Claremont. And Kempinski tries to set up Sapelsa. Well defended, though, by Weber and Amber Peters. Another point for the Cougars. Both these teams 1-0 in pool play. And the attack right there by Drea Pappas is good. 19-16, Marygrove leads. Substitution being made by the Mustangs. Haley Jury checks in for Drea Pappas. She's in to serve, and an excellent dive by the Cougars. And the kill by Heather Rowland, the sophomore middle hitter and outside hitter for Cincinnati-Clermont. More substitutions being made, this time on the Cougars side. Taylor Herman checks out. And now serving, this will be Amber Peters, the sophomore outside hitter. And Peters' serve, unable to get over the net. Point goes to Marygrove College. Marygrove 5 points away from advancing to 2-0 in pool play on day one of the USCAA National Tournament. And the point right there goes to Marygrove after the kill on the attack from Amelia Velez. 21-17, Mustangs lead. Sapelsa with the serve. Walton tries to set up for Lawrence, initially blocked by the Mustangs, but point will go to the Cougars. Number 13, Kylie Collins checks in for Courtney Mayer on the Cougars side. And Sarah Sapelsa checks out for Marygrove. And Velez kind of hit that into no man's land on the Mustangs side, and another point goes to the Cougars. Katharina Hall's attack blocked. That was a combination, once again, of Haley Weber and Kylie Collins, and Cougars get the point. It's now 21-20. Mustangs lead over the Cougars. And Velez finds an opening on the Cougars' side of the net. Once again, to clinch a win, you have to win by 2 points and have at least 25 points. Clinch a victory in games. Now the setup for Kiara Cobbs. And this is going to drop to the floor, and Mustangs a couple points away from advancing to 2-0. Velez will serve for the Mustangs. Walton sets up for Collins. Katharina Hall barely gets it over the net. And Amber Lawrence keeps the Cougars alive with the successful attack. Marygrove with a 23-21 lead. Velez checks out for the Mustangs. Haley Weber and Rebecca Walton check out for the Cougars. 23-21, Mustangs lead. And here's Kiara Cobb's attack. And we have looks to be a net violation against the Cougars. Point goes to Marygrove. And this is game point. Mustangs lead 24-21. And they already won game one and looking to secure game two. And the Cougars, though, stay alive. Amber Lawrence with another kill. 24-22 substitution being made for the Cougars. Taylor Herman checks back in, and she goes in for Amber Lawrence. 24-22, Mustangs lead over the Cougars. Kempinski to her sister. Now Rowland sets up for Peters. The setup for Katharina Hall. Herman keeps it alive. Robb setting up for Kylie Collins. And it looks like that will be against Marygrove and a point for Cincinnati-Clermont. Taylor Herman to serve, trying to keep the Cougars alive in game 2. And the attack is good right there by Katharina Hall, and the Mustangs defeat the Cougars in game 2, 25-23. In the first game, of course, Marygrove won 25-17 over the Cougars, and that will do it for this game. We got one more game coming up here on Tourbeau Sports Network. Coming up shortly, we'll have more action. It'll be Carlow University and Penn State Fayette here from the CARC at SUNY Canton. We will continue with more USCAA women's volleyball action in just a moment. Stay with us here on Tourbeau Sports Network.